move faster in prosecuting and punishing the really big corrupt. Fixed assets and in banks, including in Europe and America. But full investigation before
politicians and political office holders in terms of discharging your responsibilities as president?
Well, everybody is mindful, firstly, of his immediate, but by my own hope. In 2011, I ended up to Supreme Court. So really, I understand Nigerian politics. But I found out that the elite are just for themselves. They are just, that's why I didn't so much bother about what they feel and what they threaten they could do. And I'm very pleased that I proved myself right. I hope they will appreciate what sacrifice Nigerians have been making to make them to continue enjoying the position they have achieved, either materially or politically. I think they should be thanking the rest of Nigerians because Nigerians, the majority of them haven't trusted me. They voted me overwhelmingly. And I mentioned it once or twice that what gave me a lot of satisfaction was when I visited all the states, 36 of them, including Abuja. And the people that turned out to listen to me and to see me are more than what anybody could buy or force to come and see me. So I felt that Nigerians really understood me and they were backing me. And that was proved subsequently during the elections.
Yeah, people were wondering before the elections, you never for once expressed doubt over your chances of winning the last elections. And you won with 15.1 million votes. What gave you so much confidence?
Yes, I'm confident because, as I told you, I saw the sign that Nigerians understood me. And I reminded you just now, don't forget, I tried 3 times, and it's only the 4th time I won. And there was no local government I haven't visited in this country, no talk of states. Local government, 774 local government between 2003 and 2011. I visited all the local governments. And most of the time, you know, I went by road or I used boats. Very few places I go by air because I was on my own then.
So recently you were quoted to have said that the relationship between the executive and the 8th National Assembly wasn't the best. To what will you attribute their uncooperative attitude?
I think a culture was developed in the National Assembly that they should dictate the terms. I think which was wrong. It is the executive that dictates the terms and take it before the legislature that will examine it and agree or disagree with it. But when they go around posing that they are the government and not the executive, then that's a problem. And I'm afraid I felt that, and I spoke personally to the Senate President, Saraki, and the leader of the House, Dogara. They could not deny it. I told them, how do they feel to hold the country at ransom for 7 months without passing a budget? So for 7 months, were they thinking? I said, personally, they are not hurting me, they are hurting the country. So really, in terms of patriotism, I think I rated them very, very low indeed.
Has that affected the performance of your government?
Yes, well, but there's a constitution. There are things that have to go through them. There's nothing I can do. But to hold a budget for 7 months cannot be justified if you really bother about a country.
Okay, so Mr. President, security is still a major challenge. Despite the fact that you have degraded Boko Haram as promised, kidnapping for ransom is still an issue that is now threatening the peace of the country. How personally do you feel about that?
I feel very bad indeed, because there is a failure of neighborhood security, in the sense that those who are perpetrating these atrocities against communities and against the states and the country, they come from somewhere in Nigeria. Their neighborhoods know them. And we have traditional rulers. Then, of course, the police are in the front line. The police in every major town and city in this country. As I said, they were not given the uniform and the rifle to impress anybody, but to secure the people. In this, I think the community leadership and the police, to some extent, have failed this country.
So what assurance can you give Nigerians on that?
The assurance I can give Nigerians that I will continue to do my best.
So, sir, in the face of the prevailing security challenges, how will you describe the performance of the service chiefs and other law enforcement agencies?
You see, one of my lucks is that I have gone through all this. I did virtually all the staff and command appointments from platoon, there's 32 people or 36 or 40, whatever it is, to division. It was on record for a long time, I think, that I was the only officer in the Nigerian army that commanded 3 out of the 4 divisions then. The 4th division in Lagos, the 2nd division in Ibadan, and the 3rd division in Jos. So the security relative to the time I was on command has really gone down. I cannot claim to know what was happening after I left the military the way I left. But definitely, I didn't know person to person all the service chiefs that I picked. I depended on records and reports. And when we have a case of emergency, I don't think it's the time, to start disorganizing or organizing the military or any law enforcement agency as such. You have to take your time to do it, because these are institutions that they know their security more than every Nigerian depend on a strong center. We have no state police. We have no state army or air force or navy. So those people know more than ordinary Nigerians that the center has to hold for them to have security, both material and physical security. If they allow the center to collapse, automatically they are the one leaving.
So are you satisfied with their performance? We understand you have given them all that they required.
I'm used to very high standards. I told you I did all the commands and so on, from second lieutenant to general, and commands all over. I'm still expecting more, but I'm thinking of what happened between 1999 to 2014. I suspected a lot of things went wrong, including accountability and the efficiency of the military and law enforcement agencies.
Mr. President, last year you have promised members of the National Working Committee of your party that you are going to expand your cabinet. That is yet to happen. Are you likely to do so in the next level?
I have addressed the cabinet. I said goodbye to them, at least for the 4 years we were to attain by the 29th instant. I still haven't discussed it with anybody, and you will not be the first person I will discuss it with.
Okay, so what kind of people are you likely to have as ministers in the next 4 years?
To begin with, when I addressed this cabinet, I said I am very pleased we didn't have any major scandal. I think that's a major achievement. And anybody who hasn't got any evidence against any minister, then people have to trust me, which of the ministers I will retain, which ones I will say goodbye, and very sincerely too. I don't go beyond that because I haven't discussed it with anybody yet.
So, sir, as you begin your second term in office, is there anything you intend to do differently in the way and manner you execute your mandate?
I will try to make the police and the judiciary much more efficient. As I told the police and told a lot of people, the police are in the front line. As I said, there is no town where we don't get a police station. They are supposed to be the front line for law and order. The only thing closer to the people than the police are the neighborhood itself. People know in some communities, if people steal, they know from which family, who stole it, or which kind of criminals in the family. That's what I expect of Nigerian police to achieve. Absolute community security. To know the criminals around them so that they can straight away head for those who committed certain crimes and get them prosecuted.
I asked you that question because some people have started speculating that you are likely to be more ruthless against those who do not mean well for the country, the thieves, economic saboteurs, and other criminal elements. Are we seeing more of a General Buhari in the last lap of your administration?
Well, it makes sense. We are making noise that we want people to come and invest their money. Who will bring his money when his general manager or his own will be abducted? So all those screaming for lack of jobs and so on, because we are not attracting capital investment, they should blame them for not cooperating with law enforcement agencies to get the criminals along among us, the abductors, you know, and the 419ers. They live with them, they know them. They can't accommodate them and then blame government for not building factories. The government cannot build all the factories required and employ all the people and produce all the goods and services. What the government should do is to provide security and convince entrepreneurs, both from abroad and from land, to invest, to employ people, to produce goods and services. And what the ordinary people and what Nigerians should do is expose the kidnappers and the thieves, you know.
So is it a confirmation that we are likely to see more of a General Buhari next level?
Well, I don't know what you make of me, but if you...
That you are going to be more ruthless.
Well, all those who call me Baba go slow, they will see whether I'm slow or fast.
What does that mean, sir?
It means that I will persuade the police and the judiciary to be heard. And where I uncover that they are not heard, I will try and trace who is responsible for the slowness in terms of commanders of police from DPOs upwards. The IG alone cannot do everything. He has to depend on commissioners. The commissioners have to depend on DPOs.
One of your press singers, Rarara from Kano, said, those who should run, should run. Is it a time, sir?
Well, it's up to them. If they stay, they know what will happen to them. The others stay and behave themselves, or they better run.
Okay, sir. What is your message to Nigerians as you start the last lap of your administration, and what do you expect from them?
My message to Nigerians is they should please expose the criminals in their neighborhoods to help the government clear the country and attract foreign entrepreneurs to come and invest into the country, to create factories, you know, employ people and produce goods and services. This is what will move Nigeria forward. You cannot accommodate criminals in your neighborhood and start blaming government, glibly blaming government that nothing is being done. People are deliberately stopping government from doing anything.
You have been described differently by different people. Man of integrity, man of honor, incorruptible. Some simply say you are phenomenal in Nigeria's political landscape. How will you describe yourself personally? Who is Muhammadu Buhari?
Well, I like to start by praising teachers of my generation. I spent 9 years in boarding school, 3 years in primary boarding, and 6 secondary school. Now I think they do 5 years or 4, I don't know how many years. The teachers then, they were treating children and students like their own children. If you do well as a student, they praise you in the classroom and in the assembly hall, which is held daily, 6 times a week. If you misbehave, you will be flogged in front of your class or in the whole assembly hall. So the best out of you is brought physically and academically. You have to be well to survive. You have to do well, be doing well to survive. I was a class monitor. I was a junior prefect. I was a senior prefect. I was a head boy. I earned all those, and I know what I went through. But without good teachers, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
So who is Muhammadu Buhari?
I think I went through hell throughout my career in the military. I was a lieutenant in Lagos during the first coup, 15th January 1966. And if you bother about Nigerian history, you read coup, counter-coup, civil war, coup, counter-coup. I was all in it, including in detention for 3¼ years. So I'm fully qualified, as a suffering Nigerian.
So, Your Excellency, Nigerians would like to know whether there's anything secret behind the remarkable way and manner people show you love, respect, and trust consistently since joining partisan politics in 2002 for free.
Well, I thank Nigerians for putting me under the microscope and seeing the way I came through. They knew I was a governor, now 6 states. I was in petroleum for 3¼ years. I was a military head of state. Then I joined partisan politics when the uniform was removed from me. I tried 3 times, ending up in Supreme Court 3 times. And then I won 2015. And now constitutionally, I won the last time, the 5th time. So really, for somebody who has been in the field for 20 years, from bottom to top, I think if Nigerians show respect or love for me, I'm grateful they appreciated my efforts.
So there's nothing secret about that?
There's no secret about it. The secret is that I try to survive. So all those who are trying to survive, they better continue trying harder. Eventually they will succeed. It's a question of trying harder and harder.
Finally, sir, recently you got some people confused when you visited Saudi Arabia.
Confused about what?
They saw you running.
Yes. Try and understand the performance of Hajj and Umrah. There is a certain place where we have to jog. That's all I was doing. I'm complying with the religious terms of doing the thing. And I'm begging God to lead me and make me succeed. And that's a place to do it. And I was doing it very hard.
They were wondering, how could the president be running like that?
Who is the president before God? It's just as ordinary as you. We are all ordinary before God.
Your Excellency, I'd like to say a very big thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for making it very hard for me.
And to our TV viewing audience, thanks for your company. Join us next time, God's willing, for another special interview with President Muhammadu Buhari, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Adamu Sambo saying, bye for now.